Hello everyone, and welcome to our Parsha of the week. Of course, my name is Rabbi Daniel Braune-Friedman. I apologize. It's been a little while since we've met, and I hope you've been enjoying other clips I've sent you, other classes. But here we are in Parsha Re'eh, and Parsha Re'eh is in the middle, of course, of the book of Devarim, and the entire book, again, we've mentioned before, but the entire book is a review of the rest of the Torah in a lot of ways. It's called the Mishnah Torah, which means the repetition of the Torah. And really what it is Moshe's final goodbye, but also his way of giving across the foundation of the Torah, the foundations of the Torah. So in this week's Parsha, we have a very interesting note that Moshe is telling us that we really have a choice. We really can look at our lives as whether we want to see blessings or as curses. And the very first word in the Parsha is Re'eh. In fact, God describes this idea of seeing in three different levels. The verb Ro'eh. The first time we see this word in the Torah, we find it in the beginning where it says, Vayar Elokim ki tov, God saw that it was good. God is looking upon this, and in many places it seems strange to think of God as looking on something, but that's how we think of God in these many human forms, that he is looking upon this world. But on a deeper level, more than just seeing the world, Re'eh also seems to mean in the sense of empathizing for the other. The description just prior to the deluge of the time of Noah. There the Torah states, and the Lord saw, Vayar Hashem, Vayar Adonai, that the wickedness of humanity was great on the earth. This could mean that God saw with the sense of feeling the pain and horror which was unfolding. This massive flood taking place in the entire world, destroying all of whatever humanity was there, destroying all of the animals, really beginning the world anew, but we don't always think about how much destruction there must have been. But God saw what was going on. And it could mean that God saw with the sense of feeling the pain and horror which was unfolding, the wickedness of man who he created. And as God felt the pain of humanity, so too all people created in God's image empathize with each other. But there is another understanding of Ra'ah. Ra'ah could have the conventional connotations, that God is seen with an eye on establishing and fulfilling his covenant with his people Israel. Indeed, the first time Ra'ah appears is after Abraham and Sarah were chosen. The Torah states, God appeared va'ira to Abraham and said, to your seed I will give this land. Re'eh is used in our portion. It seems to echo the overall convention. Note that when God covenantally chooses Abraham, the Torah states, I will bless you, I will bless those who bless you, and curse those who curse you. Similarly, in our portion, the Torah states, Re'eh, I have placed before you a blessing and a curse. Just as Abraham built an altar to God in Shechem, in the place called Elonei Mamre, and this is where the rendezvous with God reaches a crescendo, and it appears, and this place is in Jerusalem. So in our Parsha, there is a discussion of how the blessing and curse would be set forth on these two mountains, Mount of Gerizim and the Mount of Eval, Har Gerizim and Har Eval, which they're in this area of Shechem. Not coincidentally, the Parsha proceeds to discuss our obligations once we enter the land and come into Jerusalem. Thus, Ra'ah has a threefold meaning: to see, to empathize, to conventionalize. However, when Abraham and Sarah were chosen, Ra'ah was in the context of the promised covenants. God was the Ro'eh. Here in our portion, as the Jews prepared to enter Israel, it is in the context of the covenant for the first time soon being realized. Re'eh, therefore, refers to the Jewish people achieving their covenantal mission. And now we look to the future. We look to the present day. With the establishment of the state of Israel, we are all a bit closer to realizing that God's fulfillment of a promise. The promise he made to Abraham and Sarah, the promise to give us our lands. Within it, that promise was a privilege, really, a covenant. If we do the things that we need to do, that we are responsible to do within our lands, we will get it. But we can also have it taken away from us. And this is really what's very key in the entire process this time of year. We left Tisha B'Av, we left the day commemorating the destruction of the temple, but really when God pushed us out of Israel, once by the Babylonians and second by the Romans, but with God's hand very much involved. In these times, we were not honoring our covenants. We were not honoring what it means to be a Jewish person, a Jewish nation in this land. First, when God kicked us out, he did so because of the three major sins the Jewish people must avoid, and they must even avoid them even if their life is at risk. The three sins being murder, idol worship, and sexual impropriety. That's what the first temple was destroyed by. The second temple was destroyed by perhaps even a worse crime, and that is sinat chinam, hating someone for no reason. Free hatred. Baseless hatred. This is a higher and more problematic problem because the real purpose of everything we do, everything from Shabbat to Etrog to Shofar, from every holiday, from every nuanced mitzvah, everything is about getting to the end of being nice to other people, of bringing goodness and morality to this world. So if we don't have that, especially in the land of Israel, then there's no reason God should continue giving it to us. And so when we understand within this, God giving us and seeing it, as God empathizes with us when the world was destroyed in the times of Noah, so too must we be concerned about it as we live in the land of Israel. When the state of Israel was established, we were closer to the fulfillment of this land. And the Torah's words concerning Re'eh as a covenant should be carefully considered. Not only that we are seeing the blessing and the curses, but that we have a choice to honor where we're going forth to. Our freedom from Egypt, our elevation to the land of Israel is not only about our getting there, not only about a right we have, but again about our fulfillment of the word. Fulfillment of our reason of being here to make a more moral and just world. Thank you very much, and Shabbat Shalom.